All right, time for a little
Have I mentioned
face-to-face.
to you recently that I am half Sicilian and half Italian?
I think it came up with the whole guinea pig
There's
conversation.
a reason
while
I
back.
bring this up, though. You're
Why
saying
is
something.
that?
Why would he bring this up? I got home late last night.
Really?
I went to the internet, looked at my email. I got an email from Giancarlo Cortina from Palermo, Sicily.
Really?
You know what he was doing that night?
I can't imagine.
I can't believe it myself.
What he was doing.
What do you
did
think
he
he was doing?
I don't know. Just tell me.
He was
quick.
watching our Web Extra.
Really?
I'm telling you, his favorite thing on the internet.
On the whole darn internet.
Of all the
See how
choices.
far-reaching we are?
So many things he can do on the internet.
Madness.
That speaks
know.
volumes.
Well, you know what's on the internet tonight? A conversation about whether outsourcing has indeed been torpedoed. That's right, that's the sound of a torpedo. If it was
Sleep with the
that's-
fishes?
That's a torpedo like if it was a cork gun.
Cork, yes.
It's like a cork torpedo. Anyway, the currency move here has been a great benefit to all sorts of different things, but you know what it hasn't been a benefit to is the large Indian outsourcing firms. The rupee, which is the Indian currency, has been absolutely spectacular in its move higher. That's a problem for a lot of those companies. You enjoying yourself over there, Pete? I can't help but notice.
I'm loving this Web Extra, baby.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, you're just
loving
having
it.
a good time.
Breaking that fourth
Well,
wall.
tell me what this implies for the Infosys and the Wipro, all the what's going on here?
I just think that I don't believe that there's an issue going on at all.
Do you think this is all nonsense?
I can tell you as a guy whose business is growing very rapidly that we are still outsourcing to India and we're getting great deals relative to here to hire folks over
So you
in
would
India.
say currency schmurrency.
Well, I would say it's a small effect, but it is not a large effect. It's not affecting us.
The rupee's up 11% this year.
Yes, it is.
Wipro and Infosys are down 22% off their 52-week high this summer. Enough said. Go to the guest.
Let us go to the guest. Have
There you go.
Thank you.
You're
What are
welcome.
You're like
I'm producing on set, it's called.
Morton
producing
Downey
from the
Jr.
floor.
Yeah, producing from the floor.
This is a
right.
very special Web Extra because you know what we're going to do on this Web Extra? We're
No,
going to use
let's go
the
around
web
the world.
to go to somebody else on the web. Right?
Nice.
Webcam. Tim Houlne, a leading expert in the so-called homeshoring, insourcing, if you will. Operations and CEO of the company is Working Solutions is the company. Provides companies with home-based operations technicians as opposed to shipping it off to India. So, you know, Karen, when you're doing all your activism and you're buying your stocks and you're sort of, you know, Carl Icahn Jr. there and you're writing in this and that and you're like, I'm going to harass them. And then you're like, all right, send it out to the back office so they can take care of my big thoughts and all my money. The reality is Tim might be able to help you out here. Tim, tell us what you can do and how it's any better or perhaps is better than when those who are then the firemen of the world that are sending all their work to India. She's not. I'm just saying that. What do you do, Tim?
Well, first, I think we should clarify that outsourcing does not necessarily mean offshoring. People confuse the two terms. Offshoring means sending transactions or development to another country. So I can't address the IT side of those businesses you mentioned, but in the call center space, what we see right now is a trend towards home sourcing or homeshoring, bringing the transactions back home and accessing experienced, educated people in their home offices for customer sales and support.
And
so it's a quality transaction versus a cheap one.
Yeah, give us some insight, Tim, into your rate of growth.
Well, right now we've had about 40% annualized growth for the last 7 years. So we're seeing our trend upward as, you know, you do have the impact of the rupee bringing some of those transactions offshore. So I think, who was that? Was that Guy or?
Probably
Pete
Guy.
who mentioned
Was
that?
he carrying on?
So what does this mean for investors? Well, you know, and Karen, I hope you like this. What if you required public companies to publish a customer loyalty metric in their 10K or 10Q? So why not? Why don't we ask that? It relates directly to customer satisfaction and customer attrition. So as an investor, wouldn't you want to know if a company has a low CSAT index compared to their peer group? And so if you look at the quality, right, you look at the loyalty, the customer satisfaction, that's different than the labor arbitrage or the cost play that originally sent all these transactions offshore in the first place.
So, but here's a question.
So now you add the...
Yeah, Tim, hang on 1 second for me. Do the Indian outsourcing firms have to fail in order for something like this to succeed, or is it possible they both go?
I think there's no question they both can work together. I agree with what he's talking about as far as like the folks that are working out of the home. I think that's a very interesting concept, and that's actually the growing area. When you're talking the ITs of the world and so forth, got to go to India.
You're with them.
Yep.
Last thoughts over here.
I think that's going to work. I think the spin on outsourcing as an idea that can still stay domestic is an interesting one, particularly when you associate it with quality. You know, I think it's going to grow in fits and starts. It always has been, actually, and this has been a topic in terms of outsourcing for years. But it seems like they're onto something big picture, and 40% over 7 years is not so bad.
Tim, a pleasure to spend some time with you. We're grateful for you getting on the webcam to have the conversation with us. Working Solutions is the company. Tim Houlne, the guest. That's your Web Extra. Do be sure to catch more Fast Money every single weeknight, only here on CNBC.